What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome to Leafs Digest. We told you guys we were going to be breaking stuff down all week, getting ready for the playoffs. First game, Thursday, May 20th at 7:30 p.m. against the Montreal Canadiens. First game of the series. And the last two episodes, we've talked about Jack Campbell being named the starter. Yesterday, we broke down the projected lineups for game one. And today, we're going to be breaking down the power play unit, something that's been struggling as of basically the whole last half of the season. It's been a big problem. It's something a lot of people are really concerned about heading into the playoffs because special teams can make or break a team in these kinds of scenarios. The penalty kill has been all right, but the big focus has been the power play. Josh and I have both broke down how we thought that the first power play unit was just too star-studded. There was too much going on there, and nobody really wanted to shoot. Everyone was trying to look for the other guys getting open and look for the perfect play. So, that being said, 2 days ago, Mark Masters released a pre-practice power play lines that go as the follows. The first unit being quarterbacked by Rasmus Sandin. The forwards up front, Austin Matthews, Joe Thornton, Mitch Marner, Zack Hyman. Goody, before we go in any further, let's break down this first power play unit. How do you feel about it? What do you think this look is compared to what he was before with all those guys on that first lineup? Do you like it? Do you like Sandin being in there? How do you feel about this?
I like the balanced approach, and I'm just kind of going off of what we've seen from the not so balanced approach, which hasn't been great. And we got the depth for it, so why not? Let's let it roll out a little bit more into the playoffs here. Mm-hmm. I think only good things can come from it. You're always going to keep Matthews and Marner together, and it's special because I think it's funny with Thornton out there. Obviously, Hyman's doing his thing as well, but Thornton especially, I think the guys really play with a really motivated hunch when he's out there with them. I think they try to keep him up to speed. I make things almost easier for him. I know it sounds ridiculous to say, but I've noticed them doing a lot more gritty work, especially Matthews, when he's out there with Thornton. I think that they're trying to live up to a certain image, a certain player they want to be, and having him out there on the ice is accountability. Even though it's a power play, he's got experience there too, legendary passer. I think that the depth approach that we're given our power play is only going to help us. And because it wasn't before, very clearly, can only go up.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that one thing that we've noticed with the power play with how it was before was that Mitch Marner was the facilitator. Everything ran through Mitch Marner. He was the passer. He was the guy to create lanes and get those, find Austin Matthews far side, back door, trying to feed it in in these tight little areas. And now you have a guy like Joe Thornton out there who's a legendary passer in the NHL. This guy is a premier passer. He has been his entire career, and he's just going to open up more and more opportunities for guys because it's no longer just running through Mitch. Joe can contribute on that end too. He can be in there making plays, finding guys open and stuff. And it's another guy to have to worry about because Mitch doesn't have that booming shot, but now he's going to be a threat to score more often than he was before because someone like Joe can find him. Not to say Austin Matthews can't pass, but he's the shooter. You want that guy to be shooting. So if the puck is on Joe Thornton's stick, it's just another opportunity to be finding guys in the right place at the right time. Joe is also not afraid to shoot the puck, take it to the net, whatever the case may be. So I'm pretty confident with Joe Thornton being on that first power play. I think it's good. He's also a big body that, again, like you said, has that experience. He is grizzled, so I do like him being on there.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because with Hyman on there, I would much rather Hyman be our net front presence than Joe. But that's an interesting trade-off because with Joe being the size that he is and the age that he is, there's going to be a little bit of a speed setback, or I even find the split-second decisions. Joe Thornton is a great hockey player. He still has a lot to offer, but sometimes I do find he gets jammed up in skilled situations nowadays. I see it a little bit from him, even though he's got IQ off the charts and experience off the charts. So it's tough because ideally, even though he's a great passer, I would almost rather him operate the front of the net when he's playing with those guys because I don't necessarily see him as a guy who's really going to be setting people up a ton. I just think that he won't draw the extra defender enough to make a nice pass, I just think the actual skill side of the game has gone down a bit for Joe. So I do worry about it a little bit long term, but again, I think the other guys really elevate their game funny enough when they play with him.
I see him kind of being in a bumper type position where he's in and out of that high slot. Hyman probably parks himself right in front of the net and at the sides of the net, almost in that JVR or Simmons position where he's there for tips and tuck wraparounds and rebounds and things like that. And Joe can be kind of in and out of in the corner to high slot, into the corner, back to high slot, and bumping around there, and being that guy who can be the middleman facilitating on either side or back to the point. Also providing that high tip option from shots from the point, because now you have a guy like Rasmus Sandin who will shoot the puck. And I like Rasmus Sandin in there because I think he opens up more opportunities. Morgan Rielly is a great offensive player, obviously, but I think Rasmus Sandin is more offensively inclined and more comfortable to be shooting that puck, and I think he's more creative with his offensive ability as well. So he's going to be a guy like we've seen in these regular season games. He'll fake, like, it's things as little as he'll fake a shot and then pass it to a guy, and everyone's biting on the shot because he is a threat to shoot. He is someone who has a good shot and he is comfortable shooting. So you're not like, oh, this guy's never going to shoot the puck. He is an actual threat at that position, and he does have a good shot. So I think it opens things up there as well.
Yeah, he's no doubt a big boost to this power play, and a pretty unexpected one. We all knew Sandin was good, but these are big, big shoes to fill when you consider how good this Maple Leaf team is, how big the final goals are for this team. Everything considered, it's wild to think we have a guy as young and inexperienced as Sandin quarterbacking it, but it's also a testament to his play to see that he's there and understand why. Like you're saying, undersized guy, not known for a crazy clap-on defenseman dude, but he will go out there and keep people honest with his shot. But more than anything, he operates with the puck like stylistically similar to Marner. There's a lot of winding, a lot of comfort, a lot of like when he's on the power play, he can create space with his feet and his stick, and it's great to see. I really don't think we're going to run into a lot of issues with him quarterbacking it. I like his creativity as a player too. You can just tell he's super calm with the puck for a guy that young. So I love it from a lot of different angles, and Sandin's going to be a big boost for us. I'm going to love to see the playmaking between him and Marner on there.
I think it is another thing too where it's like an underrated factor is the zone entries that Sandin can bring that someone like Morgan Rielly wasn't necessarily filling that and doing that before. Sandin, it's like you said, like he plays with some east-west in his game as opposed to Morgan Rielly, who tends to be a lot of north-south,
yeah,
straight up and down the ice.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Like you watch Sandin's zone entries, he's not afraid to make cuts across and get around guys that way, whereas Morgan Rielly was kind of like, I'm going to go from my goal line to your goal line, and if someone gets in the way, then they're probably going to knock the puck off my stick, or I'm going to hope I get by you, or I have to chip it in or something, whereas Sandin can control that, which on the power play possession is very, very key to successful power play. So I think Sandin brings a lot of elements there. Power play 2, quarterbacked by Morgan Rielly. We got Jason Spezza, John Tavares, William Nylander, Wayne Simmons. What do you think about this second power play unit?
Hilariously, like the thing that is most exciting to me is seeing Spezza and Simmons on there, because I already know obviously Tavares and Nylander are talented power play players, and Rielly as well, definitely. But Spezza and Simmons are two guys that I think are going to have a big time impact. Despite, well, I mean, Spezza, he's a high end player, but a lot of people sleep on him because he's a veteran guy, not asked as much in Toronto. We know better than to do that now. He's honestly, the IQ blows me away with him. So I think he's going to be a great presence there. And then Simmons is awesome too, because he's going to be in there doing a lot of the dirty things that might not get done if you send in Nylander per se, and Spezza's not as quick. So with Simmons, you get speed and size, which, you know, that combo doesn't really come in any other player on that line. And he's a great net front presence. Like, I love Wayne Simmons in front of the net. He'd be almost tempting to give a different nod to on the first power play unit if it really were to work out and you needed to blow things up again, because I think he is a quality option right in front of the net. But again, that's Zach Hyman's territory on the first setup.
Yeah, no, I like Simmons being on there as well. I think all the same things you do in that regard. Like, he's a big body that can go in the corners and win the pucks back if things are turned over. If you have to chip the puck into the corner on his own entry, he's a guy that can go in there and get it for you. Off rebounds, he's going to bang away and fight in front of the net. He's also going to be fighting for position, which is something that first unit doesn't really do. Like, you don't really have Tavares, Nylander, or Marner fighting for position. Matthews does when he gets in that spot, but you don't really want him in a spot having to fight for position in front of the net. You want him outside being a shooter. So that, like, when they were that star-studded first power play unit, that was something that was lacking. Now you're going to have a guy like Hyman on the first line who will go in there and bang bodies, and then Simmons on the second one who can do the same. Fight for rebounds, fight for positioning, and fight in the corners. I love that there. Jason Spezza, I think, has been my favorite signing that Kyle Dubas has made in the last 2 years, because veteran experience, how good this guy is playing on a $700,000 contract a year. Like, he's playing league minimum, and he is just battling because he loves the game of hockey, and he clearly loves the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, this guy was put on waivers, and he said, if anyone but Toronto picks me, or like if anyone picks me up out of Toronto, I will retire from the game of hockey. Like, this guy just wants to play for the Leafs, and he wants to be here in Toronto. So I love that too. But I do agree. Like, I love Spezza being there.
Yeah, I think he's an awesome acquisition from so many angles, and the guy just seems to blend in with whatever coach asks of him. And you can tell when he's got an assignment to toughen up the lineup, he's out there doing that. You know, when there's other issues from a technical aspect, he's doing that as well. He's just so sound with his game, and it comes with experience. And what blows me away is I think about in a not so distant past when he had a really big role in Dallas. So it's crazy to think that we now have him playing a veteran minimum when not so long ago he was playing alongside the likes of Jamie Benn, having a lot expected of him. So it's just crazy to think that a player like that, maybe like 2-3 years later, is now in our lineup, veteran minimum, playing his ass off for a really meaningful season. So I love it. Again, same as you. I think Spezza is a stud.
I think another thing too here is that Spezza and Thornton, which is good for both those power play units, they both bring a lot of hockey IQ, let alone veteran experience and, oh, I've been here, I've done this, I've seen that, I can do this. The fact that they're so smart in the game of hockey, I think it's almost like having an assistant coach on the ice for the power play at all times. That first unit goes out there, and Thornton is going to be making reads and seeing things that he can adjust on the fly and kind of give Matthews and Marner hints to, or make those adjustments himself that they follow along with. And I think Spezza will do the same for that second unit. These are two guys who, and not to say that the rest of those guys on those units don't have high hockey IQ, like Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, they obviously do. Rasmus Sandin, I would say, obviously does as well. But those are two guys who just bring such a high level of hockey IQ and patience that I think that they will be able to control pace and play while they're on the ice and be able to shift things around while the game is in motion.
Yeah, and it comes with being a veteran. That's what we needed. It was really clear. We kind of roasted the former lineup from last year's Game 5 against Columbus. It was just wild to see the kind of players that we had such high standards for. You know, I know everything's hindsight 2020, but you look back at a team and it's not as shocking when I think about the result that we got, right? We really didn't have any jam in that lineup, any variety in our attacks. So to have guys come in who can adjust on the fly, are used to the playoffs, can fill a number of roles, and don't have big egos, but still some skill. That's tough to find. We got them on veteran minimums. Well, not Wayne, but still discount deals all around. And It's really great to see. I think that not only the fans are all in, but it's clear management, the players, everyone's on the same boat here.
Yeah, I agree. And as far as players go, I'm happy with these two lineups, but I also think that one thing is from a bigger picture, I like the balanced power play units because I think it makes it harder for the penalty killers to match up against them. What are you going to do? You're going to send your best penalty killing unit against Matthews, Thornton, Marner, Hyman, Sandin, and then your second best unit has having to roll out against Jason Spezza, John Tavares, William Nylander, and Wayne Simmons. Like, those are no scrubs on that second unit. It's going to be hard to match up against them. And I think Sheldon Keefe is going to have the opportunity to flip-flop them here and there because a lot of times the other team might want to start their best power or penalty kill unit in that penalty kill, and he may throw out the second unit. And now all of a sudden you're going to have Matthews, Marner, Thornton, like those guys come out against the second unit. And now there's going to be matchup problems for that penalty killing team all the way throughout the game that they're going to struggle to adapt to. And I would also say that second power play unit is not very far off in terms of skill level and ability to score.
I was going to say, they might just go get you the goal anyways. So
Right.
Who knows what happens? Yeah, I mean, even I'll take them against the first penalty kill unit every once in a while. Why not? Especially if it might give you a backdoor chance to sneak in your top unit against their second.
Right.
I think that's a great decision, and it's fairly risk-free for us because, like we just said, that second unit's right there with them. So
yeah,
great to have the depth that we're not used to.
Well, I'm loving the power play units and the look of those. We discussed the projected lineups last episode, and I think we both feel really confident about those. The changes from last year are absolutely major, and you just look at these power play units and how they're shaking down, even just compared to how they were last week. It's big changes that are coming here from Sheldon Keefe. This guy is very creative with his lines. He's not afraid to shake things up and get things moving, and this is a guy who I think is going to be on the ball during these playoffs and moving guys around, bouncing people in and out of the lineups, up and down the lines. And I'm very, very excited to see what he does moving forward, because I am so far very happy with the projected lineups at 5v5 and the projected lineup on the power play that he's put forth thus far. So I'm really excited about that. I'm pumped for this first game, Goody. I can't wait to get to it. We got one more episode coming out before that Thursday episode. So if you have any questions that you want us to answer prior to the first game of the playoff series, make sure you do so in the comments of this video. We'll try to get to as many as we can in the video coming out tomorrow night. Our playoff eve breakdown. We'll do some projections, X factors, maybe we'll throw out exactly how many games we think the Leafs are going to win in, because obviously the Leafs are going to beat the Habs. Come on now. But
got some hot takes cooking. I know I do for sure. So I'm excited for tomorrow's pod.
But we'll see you guys tomorrow. And then get rested, because we got the first game of the playoffs coming Thursday, May 20th at 7:30 p.m. against the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see you guys then.